You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe, and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Trick or treat, Lone Star Radio listeners. This is Dick, the general manager, taking this quick moment to remind you that Lone Star Community Radio is looking to fill some of our talk show slots along with some of our DJ slots. We have a new show airing on the 10th, Making Connections with Stacey Harris, which will air every second Tuesday of the month at 1 p.m. Make sure to check it out along with our other programs on Lone Star Community Radio. For more information on Lone Star Community Radio, visit us online at irlonestar.com. And again, if you're interested in doing something with us, call the station, 936-647-3776. Thanks for checking out this recording, and I hope you guys enjoy.
.com.
And good afternoon. This is Dr. Carlos Sanchez and the Hispanic Chamber Connection Radio program designed for the members of the Woodlands-Conroe Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. But if also you're a member of the Katy Hispanic Chamber, of the Vintage Park Hispanic Chamber, of the Heights, or of the Galleria, you are more than welcome to be a part of this show. All you need to do is just send me an email. Let me know, reach me, reach out, insist, because I've had people say, I can't reach you, Carlos. And the thing is, what I always say is, 80% of all my communication with the world is online. So in general, it's not on the phone. It's more on either Facebook or instant message or text, et cetera, et cetera. So just keep insisting, and you'll find me, I'm sure. And because we do over 40 events per month. So really, it's hard to not reach me. So if you're saying you can't reach me, it's because you don't leave your home or your office, because we're everywhere. With that said, this program is really, really made possible because of our sponsors and the people that support us. And it's a real treat that today we have those sponsors, our title sponsors here today. That's the Amel Agency with Leonard Amel and with Celeste Gomez. We'll talk to you guys in a little bit, guys, about your agency and everything else. But Leonard and Celeste, thank you for being on the show and welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so that was kind of your cue. Come on in. Okay. So I did have a couple questions, but before I start asking my questions and just really engaging in the agency itself, I think it's important to make it clear to our audience that Amel, is that a Hispanic name?
It actually is. I mean, it's from Catalonia.
Ooh, that sounds like Spanish.
Yes. So it's Catalan. It's pronounced Ameye.
There you go.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. And the thing is, and the reason I ask is because some people, what about Amel? It's so strange how sometimes, because this organization is called Hispanic Chamber, there are folks that do get offended when they realize that some people in our chamber are not Hispanic. Even though about 60 to 70% of all the people that show up and participate are not Hispanic. They tend to be more of the American Anglo sort of mainstream. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about this earlier. It's important that it be that way because that's the market all of us want to be a part of. We're not an exclusive, or we're not an ethnic exclusive group, and I'll never be that. There are organizations in town that are ethnic exclusive, and when you show up to those things, if I want to be ignored, I go to those groups, and I guarantee you they'll ignore me just because they see you show up different, because I don't look necessarily Hispanic, but I go to Hispanic groups. There are some out there. I won't mention many names, but NHPO. Ever heard of NHPO? Mm-hmm. Okay, so they're nice people.
Yeah.
No mean to offend, but when I go to their events, I go there for therapy because that's how I become humble, is when people ignore me. And I walk in, and the leadership won't talk to me, even though online they invite me and stuff. So for me, it matters that whomever shows up, no matter what your ethnicity, no matter what it is, we address you and we honor you by acknowledging you. Go ahead.
Well, I find that encouraging. I mean, being Hispanic in the state of Texas, and with an organization with the word Hispanic, the fact that so many, Anglo-Americans mm-hmm. want to go to the chamber, I think is fantastic. They obviously want to be more involved,
right.
more a part of the Hispanic culture. So I find that encouraging.
They're the ones reaching out.
Definitely.
Right? And so I tell people who are Hispanic, come talk to us, see what we're doing, and realize, because also cultural factors that a lot of folks that are first generation think that networking is kind of a waste of time. Mm-hmm. And I always tell them, it's not about the food, so you don't have to, it's not about the people, it's about the business and about you understanding how to conduct business, because that's a big
definitely.
deal. Understanding how to behave like a business person is very different than just showing up and eating the rubber chicken, which is what a lot of folks do, and that is a waste of time.
Yes.
Anyway, all right. So let me tell you about some of the events going on this week, because we have a lot of events, and that's one thing that we always pride ourselves in, and that if a member or someone wants to network and wants to really get involved, there's so many different ways of doing it. And one of the big benefits members get is that no matter what the size of your business is, you always have one ribbon cutting per year. So, for example, if you're going on your second year and you want another ribbon cutting, we'll do an anniversary ribbon cutting or something, a reception for you and your business. So tonight we have Araceli Shaw. You guys know Araceli?
Of course, definitely.
So Araceli Shaw is doing her ribbon cutting, and she's promised to have really good food. I'm not sure what she's going to buy, or she's going to make, rather. She's going to make it. Something like albóndigas or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, she's going to make some real food, she said, and Mexican conchas and sweetbread. So anyway, she's doing a ribbon cutting tonight, and that's at 5:30 p.m. at the chamber offices. And the biggest benefit to a ribbon cutting, obviously, is that we put all of our attention and all of our effort in your business. Everybody shows up to honor you. So everything from the chaplain who prays for us all the way to the folks that come in and bring door prizes, it's all in your honor. So that's why we do it. I remember when we did yours, Leo, you guys had some really good food.
We did. It was actually catered by my father-in-law.
That's true.
Yeah, Catering Delights. It's a local catering company. He's been doing it for over 15 years. Fantastic food located right here in the Woodlands.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Is he the same guy that does the tamales or no?
No, that's my dad.
Father-in-law?
Father-in-law.
And my
Father.
dad.
So
Yeah.
you guys all have culinary backgrounds.
We've got the food covered when we have parties.
Okay. All right. So catering. There's a company called Roberto's La Cocina
La
de
Cocina.
Roberto. He also does catering. But the thing is, he's the only one right now that I know of in the chamber that actually offers that service. So your dad wouldn't be far off, or your dad-in-law wouldn't be far off if he actually sent somebody to represent at some point.
Definitely.
Because we're doing we do so many events where we need food. It's
Right.
unbelievable, especially now as we go into the holidays.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. So tonight is Araceli Shaw, Araceli. All right, and she is kind of bilingual.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of bilingual means a lot of things. Let's talk about that for a second, just so that the market understands. The people listening to us, by the way, are members and also folks that are interested in our chamber. Just want to check out what we're doing. So being kind of bilingual is important to understand. I have heard, and so I get all, not upset, but I say, wow, who put that person in charge? When folks that say they're bilingual have big responsibilities and are not bilingual. They learned Spanish like when they were kids, and that's the level they reached. And now they're an executive director at something. They're supposed to use big words, and they can't. Have you heard that before?
Most definitely.
Yes.
Give me your opinion about that, because you're looking at me like I'm crazy. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I think it all just really depends on the scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're selling yourself as being bilingual, then you really should be.
Right.
And if you're not, then you need to kind of disclose that as well.
You have to say you're kind of bilingual.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I know for Celeste and I would say probably 60% of what we do is in Spanish. throughout the
Entirely in
day.
Spanish. So
Entirely
you have
in
to know that Spanish.
But for example, like in my household, my mother's Puerto Rican and my father's Dominican. They spoke to us in Spanish, but for whatever reason, I think a little embarrassed growing up because most of the people I went to school with were Anglo. I always responded to them in English. And it wasn't until high school that I finally realized, hey, I want to learn Spanish. I mean, I want to speak it fluently, correctly, and in the corporate environment.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I think it's very important.
Because I've done that. I've worked with people as a professional coach or business coach. I've actually worked with folks or executives or folks that like in your scenario, who grew up with some Spanish, are deemed bilingual. Then they get up in front of the groups of people and say things that are not bilingual at all. They're
Right.
just kind of making it up a little bit. If they have that self-awareness to gain the knowledge, then they can correct it.
Sure.
It's when I see things, I don't know if you've ever seen this, Celeste, on television. There's somebody that's supposed to be speaking to the Hispanic community in Spanish, and they're just awful.
It's more like Spanglish that they're speaking.
But not even that, they're making up words.
Right, yeah.
They say stuff that's like, what?
And it matters depending on the customer and your audience. A lot of, like you said, first generation people that we have as customers from Mexico or other Latin countries, when you tell them you're bilingual, they said, really? And then they want to start speaking with you in Spanish,
they
and they
start-
expect for you to speak perfect Spanish,
Yeah.
write it.
And
be able
that's
to
the part
communicate.
that to me is really cool because I can do that. I went to school, high school and college in Mexico, and I did more stuff here.
Yeah.
When people do not challenge you, but they do start asking you words in Spanish and stuff to use your Spanish, and when you can address them in Spanish, that's high level Spanish as well.
Yeah.
I think it's there's a lot of satisfaction in being able to do that. It's not easy though,
No.
because I got to tell you, I mean, you guys know this. At least 70% of all the people that say they're bilingual really aren't,
Right.
because you really have to
Definitely.
go to school to understand all kinds of different things, nuance, you know.
Right.
Anyway, that's our little piece on being bilingual, ladies and gentlemen. So now you know the Amel Agency is bilingual. So if you have any people who speak Spanish, it's a good idea to understand that folks want important information like insurance information in their native language, right? So that's why it's cool that you guys are Spanish speakers. Okay, so we said Araceli Shaw, kind of bilingual. I think she's pretty good, and that's tonight. Araceli, I'm not trying to offend or anything, but you know what I'm saying. It's a matter of practice and practice and practice. All right, tomorrow's what, Thursday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Oh,
Yeah,
what am I
tomorrow's
saying? That's
Wednesday.
true. You know, it was weird because yesterday, when I was driving to the office yesterday, there was nothing on the streets, no people, and I thought, oh my God, is this Sunday? You know, I started thinking maybe my mind is going, something's going. It was Columbus Day, which is a whole other story. What Columbus Day really is. That's a whole different segment of the show. So,
I don't think we'd be able to cover it in this segment.
not today, but okay. So tomorrow Wednesday, we have lunch at Katie, lunch in Katie, and that's from 11:30 to 1 p.m. at Rudy's Barbecue. You guys have gone to Rudy's.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
great barbecue.
It's great food.
Great
you know,
food.
and Katie's growing. So Katie, I mean, if you look at the Woodlands today, we had a meeting today. We had about 30 people. Last week we had about 50 people. It was just insane how many people are coming to our meetings. Katie is growing up to that. You know, so the potential in all our venues is to have 30 to 50 people at each meeting. You know, so it's just a matter of a little bit of time. So tomorrow we have lunch at Katie. Then tomorrow night we have after hours networking at Pelotas.
I always say it wrong.
Yeah, no, Pelotas.
Yeah.
It's potato, but still the food is great.
They have the best dessert. Have you ever had that mud? It's like a mud pie dessert.
Don't say that, man. I haven't had breakfast yet.
Okay. It's incredible. Sorry.
I haven't had lunch, rather. I can't eat during the lunch meetings. I have to be running around. But you're right. What I love about
Really
them
good
is the chicken parmesan. They're really good. They have great food. And so Pilatos is a member of our Chamber of Commerce. And so tomorrow night, we're doing an after-hours networking event there. And that's from 5:30 to 7:30. Basically, everybody shows up and networks and drinks and has fun. We don't do a lot of after-hours events because for us, after-hours is not as effective as during the day. That's because most of our members are business owners or people who work during the day. And they just don't show up in the afternoons because they've got babies. How many babies do you have, Celeste?
I have 4 children.
Oh,
One
5
baby.
Children. Oh, that's true. They're not all your babies, though?
They're all my babies,
There you
yes.
go. Okay. So the young one is how old?
The young one is going to be a year on the 20th.
Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. Celeste was networking when her baby was like 2 months old.
Yeah.
You were already out there doing your thing.
I was, yeah.
How do you do that? I could never understand. I was never a father, right? So I'm not going to have babies. But I don't understand how you can stand it to be away from your baby, networking with all these people and doing your job. Wasn't that tough for you?
I mean, it is. You always have the mom guilt, that when you go to work, you have to leave them with someone and you're away from them. But they're also my motivation or the reason that I try to do the best I can at work.
Sure.
So, yeah, you just have to balance it. When I'm at work, my focus is on work. And then when I'm at home, it's all about them.
Okay, very good. So there you go. Very devoted mom also, ladies and gentlemen. That matters when you're selecting your insurance agent. So we talked about tomorrow. We talked about Wednesday. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Katie. On Thursday, we're in Vintage Park. That's for lunch. And on Friday, we have the speaker series. When we come back from break, actually, you can tell us a little bit about the speaker series. Then when we come back from break, I'll ask you more questions. So what is the speaker series that we have on Friday? And it's going to be at Momentum Title at 11:30 a.m. Free. Tell us what it is.
It is free. It's a speaker series. It's called Lunch with Leaders. And every month we have a different speaker. And it's all about small business. So different topics to help small business. And it's catered by La Cocina de Roberto. So you just have to RSVP. Yeah, great food.
I'm going to go there. Free lunch, man. Why not?
Yeah. And tomorrow, Elizabeth Griever with Everson Cooper is going to be Friday. It's going to be our speaker.
Elizabeth Griever with Everson Cooper will be the speaker. And she is a real estate investor here local. She buys homes as is.
Yeah.
So she has a lot of great things to help small business owners with negotiation. That's Friday.
And that's the topic, yeah, negotiation.
Very good. So when we come back from break, then we're going to learn more about the ML agency, about the goals you guys have, the things that are coming up. So we'll be right back. Please stay with us.
The Hispanic Chamber Connection is sponsored by the ML Insurance Agency, located at 719 Sawdust Road, Suite 103, The Woodlands, Texas. The ML Agency is a family-owned insurance agency that provides home, life, automobile, and umbrella insurance coverage. Since 2006, the ML Agency has been a bilingual insurance service for businesses and private citizens in the Montgomery County area. For more information on the ML Insurance Agency, please visit the Hispanic Chamber Connection at www.irlonestar.com/HCC. The ML Insurance Agency is available by telephone at 832-525-5656 or online www.mlagency.com. The ML Insurance Agency is a sponsor of this program, and the Hispanic Chamber Connection thanks you.
The Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service has been dedicated to educating Texans for over a century. In 1915, the Extension Program was established under the federal Smith-Lever Act to deliver university knowledge and agricultural research findings directly to the people. Ever since, AgriLife Extension programs have addressed the emerging issues of the day, serving diverse populations across the state. Texans turn to Extension for solutions in horticulture, agriculture, 4-H and youth, and family and consumer sciences. Extension agents respond not only with answers, but also with resources and services that result in significant returns on investment to boost the economy. Join us Fridays at 1 o'clock for the AgriLife Extension Hour.
Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's radio station with talk, music, weather, and traffic for Montgomery County. Have a question, comment about one of our shows? Want to know how to reach a host? Just contact the station on irlonestar.com or call in and leave a message at 936-647-3776. Get involved with your community with Lone Star Community Radio.
And we're back. This is Dr. Carlos Sanchez with the Hispanic Chamber Connection radio show. I'm here with the ML Agency, with Leonard Amel, with Celeste Gomez. We're going to get to their phone number and how to reach them, how to talk to them. But before that, I think there's some important things that come with culture. And this is the part of the show I like, that we can actually talk about, how we grow up. And we don't have a condition or anything like that. It's just that when you grow up in a multicultural household or in a home where Spanish or English are the preference, it does something. It's a really unusual thing. Like when I was growing up, I grew up in East LA. East Los Angeles is kind of the epicenter for all the Hispanics in America. It's like we all came from there. Well, 60% of all Hispanics are of Mexican descent, if not more, in the U.S. Mm-hmm. I think it's higher. But nonetheless, in Los Angeles, where I grew up, I didn't speak Spanish, but I could communicate with my parents who didn't speak English. So I would speak to my parents in English. I would respond in English. They would speak to me in Spanish, like, Carlos, whatever. And I'd say, yes, Mom, and, all in English. But later on in life, when I was like 13, we moved to Mexico, where they spoke Spanish, and I didn't speak a lick of Spanish. So I went to school, like to high school in Mexico, and I was made fun of no end by the kids, because to learn Spanish, what I decided to do as a result of all the fun they made of me, I got mad, and I decided to learn better Spanish than them. So I mastered linguistics, and I did all kinds of stuff just to really learn it. Because when I was growing up, speaking Spanish, like la mano, right? The gender stuff, like la mano, los dedos, las uñas, mm-hmm. Male, female body part. Everything is either male or it's female, but it's not neutral like in English. Mm-hmm. All this mess that Spanish is, I was immersed in that, but I struggled with it for years. So that was kind of my upbringing. And I know, Leo, you had something similar, or some situations also with you being part Dominican and part Puerto Rican, mm-hmm. which is a very cool combination, because you're kind of the Caribbean guy.
We typically make really good baseball players, but for whatever reason, I stunk. So, and I'm left-handed.
So. And you're left-handed, it's even worse. No,
I was a huge disappointment to my father.
That actually happens, especially when, yes, when the kids don't come up to be, 6'5", whatever. So, okay. Or soccer players. So tell us about that, Leo. How was it growing up?
It was definitely different. I mean, we grew up on 1960. My dad was one of the first cardiologists on 1960 at Northwest Medical Center. And we were very fortunate. I mean, blessed. I mean, he sent us to all the best schools. So I went to, St. Edward's Elementary, Elizabeth Ann Seton Junior High, St. Thomas High School. But typically I was always, for example, at St. Edward's, I was probably the only Hispanic.
Wow.
And so, my mom, she would pick us up. She would always communicate to us in Spanish, and I would always tell her to speak to us in English. I was embarrassed. But as I developed and grew older, I realized that it's nothing to be embarrassed about.
Right.
It's actually a blessing. A blessing. Eating arroz con gandules. I mean,
wow,
tostones.
Like a Puerto Rican.
You know what I mean? Like eating our food, our culture, being, enjoying the sports, having great baseball players. I started appreciating it, and from then on, I made a commitment. I was like, I'm going to improve my Spanish, similar to what you did, and so that really changed for me. But growing up in the late 70s, early 80s, in the Spring area, being Hispanic was difficult for me.
That's like being a 6'4", 150-pound white guy in Mexico. That was me. And when I was in high school, I mean, I was just this tall, thin, knowing I couldn't speak Spanish. I spoke really terrible Spanish. So you find that a challenge. And I still remember the day when in America, when I came back to the U.S. and was living here, when I decided to take advantage of the fact that I'm Hispanic to do a career. So, after, I started my company that had to do with leadership and with working with Spanish speakers, and later with the Chamber of Commerce, I said, I'm going to do this for Hispanic because I get it. I get both cultures, and I can actually help others with that too.
Definitely, and I would say, I don't know how you feel, Celeste, but probably 60% of our clients are Hispanic or Spanish speakers.
Yeah.
So had I not engulfed myself in that and committed myself to learning Spanish, I'd be losing a lot of business.
Absolutely. So is that with not your babies, with your kids, with your children? How do you find that dynamic going on in your family right now?
Well, my children understand Spanish. They don't speak it as well. I think that really falls back on us as parents. I'm trying to get them to speak more in Spanish. For me, growing up, I remember my dad, we would get home, and if my brothers and I started talking English to each other, he would say, no.
Really?
Just Spanish. At home, I just want you to speak Spanish, because when you go to school, it's all in English, and I don't want you to lose that. And I know we resented that. We're like, well, why? Why is that being like that? But now looking back, I'm grateful that he did that for us, because I've been asked by customers. I tell Leo sometimes, they're like, where, when I start talking to him in Spanish, are you from Mexico? Where were you born?
Right.
I said, I was born here, but my parents are from Mexico. They love the fact that I can speak proper Spanish, and that all goes back to my dad,
and that's a big deal. And we say this over and over again, but there are folks that wish they could do more, with the Spanish. And I always tell them, you have to read it, and you actually have to live it, because it's not enough to speak broken Spanish with friends. But there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we appreciate every level, because we even have somebody here in the studio who wishes he learned Spanish but never did. He loves the tacos. But, Jake, our producer, come on, Jake, what's the deal with you, man?
I took 4 years of it in college.
Oh, my God, look at that.
There you go.
So can you order beer in Spanish?
Yeah, un cervezo, por favor.
Close. Okay, I think the waiter or waitress would smile and say, "Okay, we'll get you a cervezo."
The cervezo.
So that's the bigger thing too. Just to understand, business is done, with people who are nice to you, who are sympathetic, and who get it. At the higher level, with things like insurance, health insurance, and even healthcare, law, etc. People do want a more refined sort of level of Spanish. If you're going to say you're bilingual, otherwise don't say you're bilingual, because then you'll get the weirdness that comes with not speaking well, and people asking you questions with technicalities you can't answer. So anyway, all right. So that's interesting. Okay. So the Amel Agency. The Amel Agency is you guys are focused primarily, not primarily. You basically are a full service agency.
Yes, that's correct. I mean, we're coming up on 12 years being in the industry. We're currently with a farmers insurance agency, but come November 1st, we're going independent. So It'll change as far as personal lines will go. As far as personal lines, we'll be offering, which that's Celeste's department. She's head of the personal lines department, but she'll be working come November 1st with the Travelers, the Safecos, offering new customers a lot of different options. Commercially, nothing will really change. Quite honestly, a lot of what I do, from insuring pipelines in Freeport to commercial auto, tow trucks, will be staying the same. You know, we already do that with a lot of different carriers. How can somebody get a hold of you guys if they want to talk to you? Yeah, so we can be reached at 832-525-5656. That will be a good number for us November 1st. As of now, we can be reached at 832-299-6640.
Very good. So this is the Amel Agency, and you're right here in the Woodlands.
Right off of Sawdust.
Very good.
Yeah.
So once this whole transaction or transition occurs, how's that going to change my coverage? Will it change my coverage or anything, or is there going to be a difference, or will I notice it?
It really depends on who you're with. So your coverages won't change at all. With farmers, so for example, clients that we do have with farmers, we have what's called a no compete, no solicitation clause. So for 1 year, we can't talk or go after those clients, but we're definitely letting people know. And hey, after that year, we're definitely going to solicit and try to get their business.
Sure.
But a lot of customers, again, a big portion of what we do is commercial. A lot of policies that were underwritten under other companies that farmers couldn't do. So we'll be keeping those clients. And then a lot of what Celeste has done with Harris County, she's written a lot. She's been able to write a lot of business in Harris County outside of farmers because they allowed us to do that. So that business will be keeping as well.
And that's important. I mean, one of the things that I'm sure you found this also is that Hispanic business owners and Hispanic folks in general are very loyal to you once you got their business. Once you start addressing their needs or helping them out. What has been your experience?
Yeah, they are very loyal, and then they will refer you to all their friends and family.
Yes, for sure, and that's important.
You just have to gain their trust, be honest, be upfront with them, and take the time to explain what the policy coverages are, and they appreciate that.
And that's a big deal because we've heard, through the chamber, we've heard different things about other agencies and other people who really don't care about their customers and who will drop them at the drop of a hat. After Harvey, for instance, there were people that were canceled just arbitrarily. And that's why it's so important to understand to get to know your agent and to get to know their heart. That's why we ask you questions like that about your backgrounds and stuff like that, just so that people will know that you guys are not only vetted with our chamber, but we're all vested with each other. So it's a big deal. I did want to ask before we go on break a couple of other things. One was, Celeste, could you please tell us about Montes? Because we have a member in our Chamber of Commerce who can drink that salsa that your parents make, it's like with a straw. I can't drink that stuff without my sinuses going blank for like 3 days.
But it's good for your sinuses.
It clears them out.
It clears them out.
It doesn't clear them out. It blows them out like poof, Tell us about these tamales. How long have they been making them, and how can somebody order them?
They've been making them for over 30 years. It's my parents' business. Tamales Montes is the name.
Tamales Montes.
Is the name of the company, and they're homemade. My parents have been making those. They make them at home. My mom makes the green salsa. I can't drink it myself either. It's too spicy for me, but
I love it.
Everybody loves it.
It makes your panza just go bananas for sure. So, a big shout out to Tommy Peters, who is one of your biggest fans.
Yeah.
I know that he'll drink that stuff. I mean, he's a gringo, right? But he does he can do that. I could never do something like that. Anyway, with that, when we come back, we're going to talk a lot more about the ML agency, about some things about how people can get involved with you. And so we'll go from there when we come back. So please stay with us.
Thank you.
Don't forget to download the Lone Star Community Radio app for your Google Play or Apple Store. Bring Montgomery County's community radio with you anywhere with your smartphone or tablet. If you are in the Conroe area, tune in on FM. That is Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1.
Listen in Mondays at noon to hear Conroe news from local nonprofits, businesses, upcoming events, Conroe Park events, news stories, and information that matters to you with your host, Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR. For more information about being a guest, visit irlonestar.com/Conroe Culture.
The Hispanic Chamber Connection is sponsored by the Amel Insurance Agency, located at 719 Sawdust Road, Suite 103, the Woodlands, Texas. The Amel Agency is a family-owned insurance agency that provides home, life, automobile, and umbrella insurance coverage. Since 2006, the Amel Agency has been a bilingual insurance service for businesses and private citizens in the Montgomery County area. For more information on the Amel Insurance Agency, please visit the Hispanic Chamber Connection at www.irlonestar.com/HCC. The Amel Insurance Agency is available by telephone at 832-525-5656 or online www.amelagency.com. The Amel Insurance Agency is a sponsor of this program, and the Hispanic Chamber Connection thanks you.
Don't miss Lone Star Community Radio on TV and YouTube. Our talk show and music shows are featured on Our City TV, Suddenlink Channel 12, and have their own YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe to keep up with posted shows and comment on them below the video.
And we're back. This is Dr. Carlos Sanchez here with the Amel Agency. Leonard,
Or Amé in Catalan.
In Catalan, which is from Spain, which
España.
is when people don't like. Okay, I've heard this too. I'm not sure you guys have heard this, but I've heard this before. When people don't like to say that they're from the Dominican or from Puerto Rico, or when they don't like to say they're from Mexico or Latin America, they'll say, "I'm from Spain," like it's some big thing. People who are from Spain are actually the reason why the word Hispanic exists, because it's of Spanish descent. So, guys, if you're from Spain or if you're from Dominican or if you're from wherever you are, we love you anyway, so it's okay. You don't have to ever deny. I never deny. I don't care. I mean, especially now, to me, it's actually more important now that people understand and know that I'm Hispanic than before. It's weird. With time, it grows on you.
Growing up, I just said I was Italian.
There you go.
Why are you so dark? Oh,
right.
My family's from Southern Italy.
And people, and at the same time, they know you're lying. But
Exactly.
So, yes. So I was asking you guys before the break just about your agency and about some of the stuff that you guys are doing. So you're are you relocating your office? Are you changing?
No. So we're staying right where we are at 719 Sawdust Road, Suite 103, right there in the Woodlands, Texas. We've been there now for 5 years, and we'll continue to be there. It's been a blessing, that location for us.
Do you have any kind of specialization? Do you specialize in any kind of service?
Yeah, I consider myself specialized more in commercial insurance, especially commercial auto, tow truck, garage type policies, anything commercial.
Okay.
And I would definitely say that Celeste is very specialized in personal lines insurance.
Yeah, home and auto.
Okay, so you're more home and auto
Home,
insurance.
auto, and life.
Okay, because I want to hear more of that when you introduce yourself. Just different things like that, so people know specifically the services you're focused. Because that's important also. We talked about that today. We had a training, a 60-second commercial training at another Broken A here in Conroe. And when you specialize, or when you're in the mind of the consumer, you specialize, you become more, you have more impact than when you say, I do 5 or 10 different things, So you don't have to not do those 5 or 10 different things. It's just when you introduce yourself to me, you want to be specialized. So I get, in my mind, how to categorize you, So anyway, that's right now neither here nor there, because the Amel Agency is going live November 1st. It's straightforward.
Going independent, baby.
And that's how it's supposed to be. And we love that because it truly is flying solo. It's you're doing your thing. Did you have something that you wanted to say there, Jake?
Yeah, I just was curious. How hard is that to start, to make this transition? Or is there any struggles y'all are seeing with that?
Not really.
I mean, I wish I could say there were no struggles. I mean, we're letting go of a $2 million book of business with farmers that belongs to them. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely tough, but I believe in myself. I believe in our agency. I mean, we just hired a new receptionist, Carla Lopez. So I think she's Carla. Yeah, So we're moving forward. I mean, we've been very blessed.
So the kids may or may not go to college. You know?
Well, it just might be Lone Star.
There you go. Oh,
You know what I mean? They're going to go to college.
Lone Star's cool.
It might be Lone Star.
Lone Star, no offense, because they're sponsors. So
But yes, no, definitely. Great school.
Well, and then, you know, Lone Star, the best thing I like about Lone Star College and the executives at Lone Star and stuff is that they know that they're a transition college, that they know that they're a 2-year, you know, that you go there to get prepared to go to somewhere else.
Exactly.
And they get that, you know?
That's what I did. I took my basics at Lone Star, and before I went
Because
to
it's
University of
unbelievably
Houston.
cheaper than going to
Yes.
the nicer places where you went, of course, Leo, because your dad, you know.
Yeah.
You grew up with, never mind. Go ahead.
Well, though I graduated from Rollins College, which is a good school in Florida, but probably nobody has ever heard of it here.
Rollins?
Rollins College.
It sounds like a baseball glove, isn't it? Rawlings?
It's a Rollins.
Oh, no,
Rollins College.
Rawlings, it's RAW something.
LINGS.
Yeah, see? If you buy a baseball glove, it's in stores.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, so let's move
Sorry,
on.
off
with that.
topic.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's way of tangent. Okay, so when you transitioned, Jake was asking, I think the bigger struggle is going to be able to let go and say, okay, now we really are, you know, we have to discipline ourselves to gain back that book of business in other places.
Definitely.
And sort of, so what kind of things are you planning on doing that will be different than what you're doing now?
Well, I mean, I think we've already been doing this, and that's getting involved in the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I mean, Celeste is an ambassador. She's going to events on Mondays, on Tuesdays. Ourselves, we're getting ready to start, you know, doing a lot more marketing, buying leads, things like that. Essentially getting out, you know, more into the community, more in front of schools.
Sure.
You know, just you become complacent.
Absolutely.
You know, and I can attest that I have become complacent. But I'll tell you this: I mean, every piece of business, you know, that comes across my desk, I'm hustling, and
You know,
we're getting out there.
It's really
and-
amazing. Let me tell you this. One thing for sure, Celeste is part of the presidential circle in the chamber, which you could be as well. But she, you know, brings tamales, so she's got you beat. Well, on Monday mornings we have meetings at my office, and the people that show up and that are constant and consistent, of course, they're going to get a lot more attention.
Definitely.
They get more airtime.
She deserves it.
And exactly, because one thing that I've noticed about Celeste and about other members is that they are actually giving her their business in terms of, okay, like Greg Zachary from the Oilery, for instance. The Oilery is changing the way America buys olive oil. Not that I'm trying to plug him, but yeah, why not? I mean, Greg is a great member, and he's also part of the presidential circle. Basically, on Mondays, they get together, and we just talk about stuff, you know? Talk about you know, the boss, things like that, but that's normal.
All good.
Sure.
It's all good. But that's a big deal because all chambers of commerce, all organizations have circles of people that network together that are tightly knit. We understand that we're not a niche. I mean, not a niche. We're not trying to be a clique or anything like that. So we do behave in ways that are not cliquish, but we do have close ties with one another. You know, and Celeste is, of course, part of that group. And I think that matters because as an organization, we'll always look for ways to make sure we can help. You know, anything we can do, we'll do it. And in an organization like ours where I can't be biased, I am. Because I'm a human being. I'm not going to necessarily go out and market only one person, so to speak. But when somebody says to me, who do you know that does insurance? I'm not going to call the person that never shows up. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Much less the person that doesn't feed me. If they don't bring some food, sometimes it's going to, and that's just basic human nature.
Right.
You know, so I think that you do have some really good things to look forward to moving forward after November 1st.
We're excited.
We are.
Wouldn't you say, Celeste?
Yeah, we're excited. I just from an employee point of view,
You're not just an employee.
Oh, now you're what is she, like an owner?
To me, she's like a part owner. I mean, the way she works, the way she does things. I mean, she doesn't act like an employee.
Okay.
You know, and the way that we have invested in her too is not like an employee. You know, you're way more than that.
Thank you. But yeah, no, I feel, I mean, I was nervous at the beginning, but I'm confident because I see, you know, you and Sabrina, Leo and Sabrina, always positive.
Sure.
You know, Leo is always with a positive attitude. We're going to be fine. We're going to do this. This is a new strategy. So it makes me confident.
You know, the funnest part about all of it, it's inspiring because the funnest of all that you're doing is you're actually literally now going into business full-fledged on your own.
Yeah.
And you already have a track record of success, so you know that it's going to be okay. You know it for a fact. And you could become, of course, like anybody, you could become negative if you wanted to, but why would you? If it hurts your chances of success, why would you do something like that?
Right.
You know? Then your kids wouldn't go to college, and that's foolish.
Right.
So we're really excited for the things you guys are doing because I really do think that you become more and more inspirational to other members who haven't made that leap yet, or haven't really been able to dissociate themselves from their employer to do their own business, which there's a lot of folks doing that. They have two different jobs, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's exciting for you guys. And our members, anyone that's listening, if you want to check your insurance rates, if you want to check your coverage, if you want to really understand what's happening with insurance, nobody better, especially if you know someone who's bilingual or doesn't speak English, speaks mostly Spanish, or if you're English speaking. I mean, you know, Leonard went to Rawlings.
Rollins.
Well, he went to a really good
Rollins
school.
College.
But he actually went to St.
Thomas High School.
Okay.
Oh, actually, I did my master's at the University of St. Thomas.
So he's a master's. I mean, the guy,
Yeah.
you know, so you're not talking to somebody who yesterday said, I'm going to start this insurance thing. You really are talking to a professional who has a background in academics, you know, who can understand some of the nuance of insurance, and that's exactly what you want. So if somebody wants to reach you, do you guys have a website yet?
We do. It's being tweaked on right now, but we do. But we'll definitely let you know when we get it a little better tweaked and ready for November 1st.
So for sure then, guys, I mean, if you're listening and you want to talk to Celeste, if you want to talk to Leonard, come to our events, you know. So we have all these events coming up, and we have so many other things. I didn't even tell you, you know, like next Monday we have something else, and Tuesday. So we just have events every day. Yeah. And there's always the possibility of you running into us and talking to our members. And for sure, because you have so many exciting things happening, it's just worth talking to you. So we're gonna talk a lot more about now your vision and the things that for the future for you. But we also want to understand more about Montes and about Specialty Delights. So what do you call it?
Catering Delights.
Sorry,
yeah.
Catering Delights, because they have wonderful meatballs. I remember those.
Yes, they were. Yeah.
And so we'll talk more about that when we come back. So please stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is Rick, TRC. Every Monday through Friday from 3 to 7, I play today's country hits on my show, Afternoons with Lone Star. The type of music that makes you want to get off your seat, stomp your feet, sing along at the top of your lungs, and not care who hears, on Lone Star Community Radio, Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1, and as always on worldwide, irlonestar.com.
Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show, with monthly and weekly slots available in Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776 to take your first step into the radio world.
The Hispanic Chamber Connection is sponsored by the Yamel Insurance Agency, located at 719 Sawdust Road, Suite 103, the Woodlands, Texas. The Yamel Agency is a family-owned insurance agency that provides home, life, automobile, and umbrella insurance coverage. Since 2006, the Yamel Agency has been a bilingual insurance service for businesses and private citizens in the Montgomery County area. For more information on the Yamel Insurance Agency, please visit the Hispanic Chamber Connection at www.irlonestar.com/HCC. The Yamel Insurance Agency is available by telephone at 832-525-5656 or online www.yamelagency.com. The Yamel Insurance Agency is a sponsor of this program, and the Hispanic Chamber Connection thanks you.
Because it went like this. Anyway, yes, we're back. This is Dr. Carlos Sanchez. We're here with the Hispanic Chamber Connection, and we're speaking to Leonard Amel, or Ameye, and Celeste Gomez of the Amel Agency. Going live, going independent November 1st, doing insurance of all sorts. So if you have any questions about your insurance, guys, please reach out. I know that they'd love to talk to you, and so would we, because they are a resource. They are sponsors of this program, but they're also very committed to our Chamber of Commerce, doing all kinds of things. Celeste shows up every week to our meetings, to our events, and that's what it takes to be successful in an organization like this. A lot of folks sign up for a chamber and they think that because they belong to a directory somewhere, now they're going to get all kinds of business. And I understand that frame of work, that thought process, because I used to do that. I would join chambers and put my name in the in the bucket and think, okay, now I'm going to get business, hoping I would get an easy lead, and it would never happen. Of course, I would always blame it on the chamber, but it wasn't their fault. If I join something, I have to commit to making a difference. And the way you make a difference is, of course, you show up. And not only do you show up, but if from time to time you can sponsor something, that's what you do as well. And that gives you the notoriety, but the exposure you need to be successful. Obviously you need to be a nice person too, because if you show up and you're not nice, quickly you'll be moved aside. That's real simple. But you guys have all the characteristics for success, and we wish you well. Leo, there were some things that during the break that came up that Celeste said, no, you say it. Not sure what they were, so ready, go.
Well, no, I think it would be good to touch on flood insurance and the importance of getting flood insurance.
What can you do now, though?
I mean, you can't do anything now, but I mean, the truth of the matter is a lot of areas flooded that we never should have.
Yeah.
Areas that were in 500, 800-year floodplains that flooded. It's relatively very inexpensive, especially if you're in a preferred flood zone and a preferred zone, and it's worth getting. I mean, paying $200 to $400 a year to make sure that you have the proper coverage that you need is definitely well worth it. And I know that Celeste, since Hurricane Harvey, has probably sold 40 flood policies.
Wow. Okay. So
people are seeing the importance and the need for definitely getting it.
It's too bad now.
Unfortunately, yes.
Over where I live, I didn't get any water in the house, nothing. But great. 2 blocks over was underwater. Yeah. And Cypress Creek, which runs near my house, all that area was a big lake and a raging river, during the time. So it's unbelievable because most of those people don't have flood insurance. Right. Some of them do because every year they flood. So whenever that creek goes up, people, around my house, there are people that do get water. I can't imagine that there's people still with their homes not being inspected yet. And how do you get that action to take place, though? Because we know some folks that have mold in their homes. How do they get the adjuster to come out and do something about it? What action has to take place? What do you guys recommend?
Staying on top of the adjusters.
Just calling them over and over again?
Calling them over and over again. I mean, unfortunately, what's going on is you have a lot of subcontractors too that are coming. For example, when we got hit with Harvey, we had a lot of subs that came from Florida.
Sure.
Well, right after they got here, they had to run back because of Florida getting hit with a hurricane. So I think it's one of those things that FEMA, everybody is using subcontractors. They're coming from all over the country. You just have to continue calling. Contacting the insurance company, contacting your adjuster, staying on top of them so that they don't forget about you, because unfortunately they're dealing with thousands of claims, and quite honestly, you're just a number to them.
Absolutely.
So being consistent and calling them will probably get them out a lot quicker.
And that goes back to your agent as well. If you haven't heard from your adjuster, reach out to your agent. That's what your agent is there to do, is help you. I know with our customers, if some of them have not heard from their adjuster, they'll call us, and then what do? We get on the phone and just call the adjuster over and over again until they reach the customer. And unfortunately, some agents aren't doing that, and then the customer is stuck in a home full of mold, and nobody reaches out to them. So.
And yeah. So there's very little you can if you don't take the initiative and just insist.
Yeah.
It's easy to just get lost in all the paperwork, and these people don't pay attention.
Yeah. Exactly. I think you definitely have to be proactive, contacting your insurance company, your insurance agent as well, like Celeste is saying.
It can be dangerous, too.
What's that?
It can be dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, all right. Yeah. So let me change the subject just a little bit because we have a few minutes left, and I want to make sure we get clear about something. What is this I hear Leonardo Amell? How do you say it?
Leonardo Amell.
Perdón, Leonardo Amell.
Sí.
About you and the Astros. What is this whole loving of the Astros that I hear about? Because Jake over there is a Red Sox dude fan.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Go Astros. Yeah, it's our year. 2017 is our year. Sports Illustrated predicted it years.
Oh, they illustrated.
Oh yeah, they predicted it like 4 years ago. It's our year.
I've heard this guy on the radio and on television saying, if the Astros win, you get everything.
That's Mattress Mag. So I think if
Should we go buy a mattress now?
I don't need a mattress, but if I did, I definitely would be going and buying it. I mean, this would be the year to pay off. I mean, we have an incredible team, and And I don't know. I think, after everything, too, that has happened to the city, it's really gotten the city energized, pumped up. I think we're ready to win a World Series, which if we win the World Series, we would be the first Texas baseball team to do so. The Rangers haven't won a World Series.
Really? I thought they did win.
No, they've been twice, but they've never won.
Come on, Rangers.
And we got 2 Puerto Ricans on the Astros team. We got Beltran and Correa, 2 Puerto Rican baseball players.
Ooh.
So,
all right. So what else? Do you have any Dominicans in there?
I'm sure we don't actually. We have a lot of Venezuelans. Marwin Gonzalez is Venezuelan. Obviously, Altuve, probably the best player in the major leagues, is Venezuelan.
And what's he drinking? Like some kind of,
I don't know,
special juice?
He's like 5'6". He's incredible. He's incredible.
So the average, I think the most popular name in Major League Baseball now is Rodriguez or Gonzalez. So, it's all dominated now by Hispanic folks, So anyway,
I love that commercial really quick. There was like a Budweiser commercial or somebody that, baseball, American is apple pie, and it's like showing all these baseball players with their names on the back, and they're all Hispanic last name.
It's pretty amazing. The thing is, and I think, it's just like with football, same thing, even though the majority might be whatever the majority is in terms of ethnicity, those sports like that, they go beyond those barriers. They go beyond things like that because it's just the love and the passion for excellence and stuff like that. So, okay, so what is your prediction from Leo Amel, from the Amel, and what are you giving if they win?
What am I giving?
Like a mattress.
I don't know if we can give anything. What can we give away, Celeste, if the Astros win it all?
Let's give us some tamales.
We'll give some tamales.
Yeah, we'll give them some
tamales.
There you go. Right.
Something like that. That
But
sounds good.
who are you going to give it to? Just say
we'll have it at the office. We'll have like a day free tamales for an entire day at our office. You have to come by, free tamales.
Okay. So if the Astros win.
If the Astros win the World Series, free tamales for an entire day at the ML agency.
How many days? How many games? 3 or 5?
So we still have the American championship. So we're waiting to see who wins between the Yankees and the Indians. They'll play tomorrow to determine that. I'm hoping it's the Yankees. I think we just match up better against them. And so we still have that championship series to go. And if we win that, we go to the World Series.
Wow. And are you planning on going to any of these games?
I'm going to try.
Better than being in your office and screaming.
You're probably right. I probably don't, to be honest, I'm not very productive. I'm listening to the game, so I probably would be better served just going to the Astros game.
Sure. And can you get tickets? Do you think?
I looked. They're pretty expensive.
Jack says you can get some free.
You can get some free tickets?
Oh, I don't know about for you, but I can get free tickets for me.
Well, you just get those free tickets for you, and you pass them on over here.
He's got connections. If you want tamales.
There you go.
Well, maybe for some tamales. We can talk about an exchange.
We can do a few dozen tamales.
Yeah, we can make something happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Astros are in for sure. What about, I saw something on Facebook also, since we're talking about sports, we'll get off this in a second, but I saw something on Facebook that said, we suck again. And it was a whole Texans thing. Do you think that's the case? Are they in bad shape now?
I don't think so. No. Deshaun Watson, he's the real deal. He's a rookie quarterback that just came out from Clemson, and he's incredible. We put him in. We started with Tom Savage, pulled him out, put him in, and he's been putting points on the board that we haven't seen as a Texans franchise. It's devastating to have lost Merciless and J.J. Watt. Those are 2 of our best defensive players. So it's going to be a tough season. We've always boasted on and depended on our defense.
Sure.
But we've got offense, and I don't know. I'm kind of the person that looks at things with a cup half full. We might not make it this year to the playoffs, but we finally at least got our quarterback, and J.J. Watt will be back. Merciless will be back.
Said like a true Texans fan. Not this year. Maybe next year.
Yeah.
Leo, the insurance agent and sports expert.
Yeah,
All
for
right.
sure. Thanks, Leo. That's very good. Very good commentary. Celeste, do you have any closing words for our audience? Is there something that you'd like to say? Your speaker series is this Friday. It's at 11:30. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is at 11:30 on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So just inviting everybody that wants to attend. Again, it's
all free.
It is free and free lunch. La Cocina de Roberto, which is excellent Mexican food. So anybody that
Roberto's not Mexican.
I know,
but it doesn't matter. He has good food.
He has really good food. Yeah.
La Cocina de Roberto, 11:30. Momentum title Friday.
Awesome.
Yeah, this Friday Elizabeth is speaking. And
Elizabeth Griever
from Evers and Cooper, and then next month it's going to be our turn to speak. So we're looking forward to that as well, and it's going to be monthly.
Very good. Mm-hmm. Okay, Leo, is there anything else that you'd like to say in the next 20 seconds?
No, we're just grateful to be here. Thank you for having us. And we just continue to want to promote the chamber. And those that are listening, I hope that if you haven't signed up, that you will see the importance of investing in this for you and your company.
Very good. Thank you, Leo.
Yeah.
Jake, anything from you since you've become part of this conversation now?
Go Astros. I got to root for them here on out, right?
There you go.
Okay,
Go
very
Astros.
good. Now you're part of the team.
I'm a bandwagon. What can I say?
So once again, with the ML Agency, thank you so much, Leo. Thank you, Celeste, for being on the show. We'll be back next week, and we appreciate all of your help and all of your sponsorships. And thanks again, and we'll see you guys again real soon. Thank you, and this is Carlos Sanchez saying, have a good week. Goodbye.
Thanks for checking out this podcast of Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station. If you enjoyed this recording, make sure to check out our past shows online at irlonestar.com or their respective video or podcast formats on YouTube, Google Play, or iTunes. If you have any questions regarding the show, either it being about sponsorships or questions for the host, contact the station manager at dick@irlonestar.com or call the station at 936-647-3776. This show is recorded in downtown Conroe, Texas at the Lone Star Community Radio Studios, and Lone Star Community Radio reserves all rights to this recording and images.